Hey everyone, welcome back to the Talking Feds YouTube channel. I'm Norm Eisen, and I'm sitting in for Harry Lippman to talk about one of the most dramatic courtroom scenes that we've seen in a very long time. Donald Trump this week on the stand, forced to testify about his violation of the New York State judge's gag order. And we're going to talk about what that means, why it is so ominous for Donald Trump, whether it's constitutional, and how it can also have an enormous impact on his federal case in Washington, D.C., where a gag order is also under discussion. So, first of all, what happened? Donald Trump is subject to a gag order by the New York State Court hearing his civil fraud case. And the judge there, Judge Energon, ordered Donald Trump, do not say anything about court personnel, including my court clerk. Donald Trump had set this whole thing off by attacking the judge's law clerk who sits next to him at these hearings and suggesting that she was very biased against Donald Trump. So the judge put in a gag order. He didn't wait. He didn't order a briefing several weeks ago. It happened. He slapped that gag order on. Then there was the first violation. It turned out that Donald Trump had left up some social media attacking the judge's law clerk. An initial fine was ordered, but then Donald Trump seemed to do it again. And that's what happened this week on the very dramatic day when Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen, was also testifying. Trump went out, he said to the cameras that the judge is very partisan, but sitting next to him is an even more partisan person, perhaps. The judge became infuriated. Donald Trump had to take the stand. What was he talking about? Trump claimed, no, I wasn't talking about your law clerk, Judge. I was talking about Michael Cohen. No. Michael Cohen was not seated next to the judge. He was a distance away. He was below. He was at a lower level than the judge. The judge heard Trump's testimony. He found that the former president was not credible. That, in other words, that he was lying. He slapped him with a $10,000 fine. 10 grand is not a very big deal to Donald Trump. But more important was being called out, being forced to testify, this very public spectacle, being found as a liar by the court and being warned. The court warned him, if he keeps this up, the penalties will get more severe. The reason for the court's determination that this had violated the gag order was when Trump targets people this way, and he just did the same thing with Mark Meadows, and that's had a big effect in the DC gag order fight that we're going to talk about. When Trump targets people this way, it can have devastating effects. Let's not forget, this is the man whose social media statement about January 6th that, quote, will be wild, helped trigger the terrible violence of that day. Trump knows that his words can bear this risk. That's why the judge put in this restriction. That's why the judge has now hit him twice for violating it. The judge is taking the approach, I'm going to give you enough rope and see if you hang yourself. Will Donald Trump be able to control himself? Will he be able to stop targeting the judge's law clerk and other court personnel in New York? And what effect will this have on other cases? Those are the questions that we're going to be watching going forward. But we know one effect that it's already had, and that is in the D.C. federal criminal case where Judge Tanya Chutkin is presiding. She also entered a somewhat different gag order there. Her order provided that Donald Trump could not make extrajudicial prejudicial statements that could affect the administration of justice in her courtroom, could affect the jury. However, there's very substantial First Amendment questions whenever you have a gag order. And as all of you know, the Constitution protects your and my and even Donald Trump's right to freedom of speech. But the courts have also held, and Judge Chutkin was the latest to do this, just like the New York court, Judge Chutkin held that there are limits to that First Amendment protection. And she's following a long line of Supreme Court cases that allow judges, if something is narrowly tailored, and that's what she did, to protect the administration of justice, like Donald Trump, for example, should not be attacking witnesses. It might intimidate a witness. Then that kind of a thing is allowed to stand as a gag order to protect pretrial and trial proceedings, notwithstanding the First Amendment. Well, guess what? She said there was a substantial legal question. She was going to stay enforcement of her gag order while they considered the legal questions. Lo and behold, Donald Trump not only attacked the judge's law clerk in New York, he also attacked Mark Meadows on social media. That came after reports that Meadows, Trump's former chief of staff, was cooperating with federal prosecutor Jack Smith, who's bringing the federal January 6th case with Donald Trump as the sole target. Trump's social media posting both said that he didn't believe what Meadows was doing, but contained also a direct challenge to the likely testimony. Given the power Donald Trump had, Mark Meadows could easily read that and take that social media posting as witness intimidation. It could discourage him from further cooperation. It could be viewed as punishment or as a warning not to cooperate further. It could have professional consequences for Meadows in MAGA world and in Republican circles. So it had a witness intimidation effect. Jack Smith went back to the judge immediately, pointed that out, and said, you should lift your stay. We have to reimpose the gag order to protect witnesses in this case, Judge. We need to be watching very closely now to see if the D.C. federal court will move with the same alacrity, the admirable alacrity that the New York judge did to protect our criminal justice system, our civil justice system, our rule of law, and the people who work in it. That includes witnesses like Mark Meadows. It includes court personnel like the judge's law clerk. And the First Amendment allows that protection. So this is not the last chapter in this drama of Donald Trump versus the law. But like the old song, at least in New York, and maybe also in D.C., Donald Trump can say, I fought the law and the law won. The law won in New York, and I believe it will triumph in D.C. as well. Thanks for joining us again on the Talking Feds YouTube channel, and I'll be back with you very soon.
Hey everyone, Harry here. Hope you're enjoying the content from all the friends of our channel. Great experts in their fields all. I want to thank them for stepping up to the plate while I'm away. I'll be back soon, and I'm looking forward to resuming the daily videos. Talk to you later.